If your baby learned to pull to stand, congratulations. You now live with a tiny personal trainer who believes 2 in the morning is practice time. And somehow they can stand up like a champion. But sitting back down is suddenly a complex emotional journey. Hi, I'm Treasure, and I help exhausted, overthinking parents get clear, calm sleep solutions that actually fit real life, not fantasy schedules. Let's start with the biggest relief. This phase is usually not a sign you broke sleep, and it's not your baby being manipulative. It's your baby's brain doing exactly what it was designed to do, just with wildly disrespectful timing. Here's what's really driving this 8 to 10 month mess. Mobility explodes around this age. Crawling gets faster, pulling to stand gets strong, cruising starts, and your baby's body is basically screaming, "Do it again." And sleep gets lighter in the second half of the night, so they pop awake between cycles and think, "Oh good, a chance to rehearse my new skill." There are a few common patterns that turn this into the standing all night show. One is the stuck standing problem. They can pull up, but they haven't mastered getting down smoothly, so they panic, yell, and call you to be their legs. Another is separation anxiety stacking on top of mobility. They wake, realize you're not there, and now they're standing and scanning the room like a tiny security guard. And the third is simple timing. Around this age, wake windows often stretch, naps start shifting, and an old schedule can quietly turn into undertired nights or overtired bedtime battles. Now let's bust a myth that keeps parents stuck. Your baby is not testing you by standing. They're practicing because their brain is obsessed with the new skill, and your job is to coach the timing, not take it personally. Also, you do not have to turn your nights into a circus to support development. Development can happen in the daytime. Nights are allowed to be boring. Let me show you the smallest changes that make the biggest difference starting today. During the day, give your baby a practice budget. Not non-stop, but intentional reps. Anytime they pull up, help them learn the down motion while they're calm. Bend the knees, shift the hips, and guide them into sitting like it's the most normal thing on earth. If they're already crawling and pulling up, you're not teaching a trick, you're teaching an exit ramp. And yes, do it on the floor, not just in the crib. The crib is the worst classroom because it's exciting, dark, and you're not there to coach calmly. Next, make sure the sleep space is set up for this stage. Lower the crib mattress if you haven't already, keep the crib empty, and skip anything soft or add it in the sleep space. I know you want to help them feel cozy, but safety beats cozy every time. When babies start standing, you want boring, safe, and predictable. Now, let's talk about what helps at night, because this is where parents accidentally train the standing habit. If your baby pops up and starts yelling, your goal is to respond in the least exciting way that still feels supportive. Go in calm, keep lights low, keep your voice soft, do not turn it into a pep rally. If they're stuck standing, help them get back down with minimal talking, then give a beat. You're basically saying, "I've got you, it's still sleep time." If they pop right back up, you repeat the same boring response. What you're trying to avoid is creating a new pattern where standing equals a big cuddle party, a feed that wasn't needed, or an hour of interaction. Because if standing becomes their reliable method to summon the full show, they will absolutely keep practicing that skill too. And let me say this with love, if you're doing 30 minutes of soothing every time they stand, you're not failing. You're surviving, and you're trying to be a good mom in the dark with a tired brain. But we want to shift from survival mode reacting to a simple plan you can repeat. By the way, if you want this whole plan laid out clearly, download my free guide, The Modern Parent Sleep Roadmap. The link is in the video description and on the screen. Okay, back to the plan, because timing matters a lot at 8 to 10 months. If bedtime has slowly drifted later because naps got messy, you can end up with a baby who is overtired and wired, which increases night waking and early morning chaos. On the flip side, if your baby is taking long naps and wake windows haven't stretched with age, you can end up with a baby who has enough energy to party in the crib between sleep cycles. So here's the quick reality check I want you to use. If your baby is fighting bedtime hard, taking forever to settle, and waking upset a lot, you're often looking at overtired and overstimulated. If bedtime is easy, but they're wide awake and happy at night, standing and babbling like they have a meeting, that's often undertired or too much daytime sleep. Either way, don't overhaul your whole life tonight. Make one adjustment, then watch the pattern for a few days. A small bedtime shift earlier can help an overtired baby. A small cap on a long late nap can help an undertired baby. And if daycare naps are out of your control, you can still protect your bedtime anchor and use a calm, predictable evening rhythm so your baby's body knows what comes next. Now, let's talk about the part nobody warns you about. This regression often comes with a burst of night feeds that aren't really hunger. Not because your baby is trying to trick you, but because feeds are soothing, familiar, and they work fast when everyone is exhausted. So if you're suddenly feeding more overnight than you were a couple of weeks ago, pause and ask, is this true hunger, or is this the fastest way we all fall back asleep? If your baby is growing well and your pediatrician has no concerns, many families can gently keep feeds consistent instead of adding new ones just because standing started. And if you are still doing overnight feeds intentionally, that's okay. We're just making sure the feed is not accidentally becoming the solution to every wait. Here's what I do if you want a simple, realistic night plan that doesn't require you to become a different person. Pick one response you can repeat every time they stand. Keep it calm, brief, and predictable. Help them down if they're stuck. Offer a reassuring phrase and give them a chance to settle. If you always escalate to the biggest soothing option immediately, you teach them that standing is the shortcut to the biggest help. If you always respond the same calm way, you teach them that standing is not a new nightlife hobby. Now, a quick note for sensory sensitive babies, because this age can hit them harder. Some babies seek more movement input to feel regulated, and mobility skills can become their favorite way to get it. So add a little more heavy work in the day in a safe way. Crawling games, climbing over cushions with supervision, pushing a laundry basket, lots of floor time. You're giving their body the input it's craving so it's not chasing it at night. Let's talk about when I want you to stop guessing and loop in your pediatrician. If your baby seems in pain, has a fever, is pulling at ears, has new reflux symptoms, or their sleep suddenly changed with illness signs, get them checked. If you notice loud snoring, pauses in breathing, or anything about breathing that worries you, that's a medical conversation. And if your baby is losing skills they previously had, that's also a medical conversation. Most of the time, this is developmental and temporary, but you should never have to talk yourself out of your instinct. Now let me give you the honest truth about why this regression feels so personal. Because you're already tired, and when your baby stands and cries, it hits something deep. It feels like they need you urgently, and you're scared that responding the wrong way will ruin everything. You're not failing. You're responding like a loving parent with a nervous system that's been on call for months. And you can still shift the pattern without becoming harsh or robotic. Here's when I'd get personalized help, even if you're doing everything right. If you're stuck in multiple long wakes most nights, if you're back to hourly disruptions, if daycare plus this regression is breaking your ability to function at work, or if you and your partner are starting to resent each other in the dark. This is exactly the kind of season where a simple custom plan saves your sanity. If you want that kind of support, I have a master's in social work. I'm a certified pediatric sleep consultant, and I'm the founder and CEO of Rested and Renewed Pediatric Sleep Consulting. I'm also a toddler mom, so I fully respect that you need a plan that works when you're tired, not a plan that only works in a perfect house with perfect nap. You can book a consultation, and I'll help you build a clear approach for your baby's temperament and your real schedule. And if you're not ready to book, start with my free sleep roadmap and use it as your calm guide at 2 a.m. Now, one more important piece that helps this phase pass faster. Don't let nights become the place where they get unlimited standing practice. Give them tons of practice in the daytime, coach the down skill when they're calm, keep nights boring and consistent, and adjust timing with small, thoughtful moves. That combination is what usually turns this from a drawn-out nightmare into a short chapter. The next video will help you stop spiraling every time sleep shifts, because once you can tell what kind of wake-up you're dealing with, you stop throwing random fixes at 2 in the morning and start getting traction fast. Tap the screen to watch my next video.
Don't forget, download the guide, subscribe for more clarity, and tap this screen. Trust me on this one.